Right now, we are in Washington Square Park. It's a beautiful day out. Zach is wearing his sunglasses.
Will Smith fought zombies here back in
I Am Legend.
04.
It's alright, it's alright, it's alright.
So Green Eyes and a Heart of Gold, it's the first song we sang. It's a song about this city and being broke and hungry and sad. It's not always this pretty in New York City. This is a really pretty day. So that's what Green Eyes and a Heart of Gold's about. Playing shows in the city for the past 8 years, you have just a certain way with the listeners, and there's certain values that end up kind of trickling through the night after night of playing shows. It ends up being like really important to you, and then really important to the listeners, and you want to try to be a part of a moment that matters, and you want to try to make something that's worthwhile. And, you know, great thing about New York City is it kind of spits out things that aren't done well, so you know if what you're doing is no good very quickly. Usually like in an open mic, you know, where you're trying out a new batch of songs or something like that. And this record really was just our first set list. So I feel like the shows, playing the shows here, helped kind of create that sense of urgency.
We also had to pay rent, you know, and I feel like my very first practice with Zach and the band, I had to get somebody to cover a shift or had to skip class or do something. And I think when we started the project, we all knew it was something worth pursuing, and it was going to take a lot of sacrifice because we're all adults and had jobs and lives and responsibilities, and so in order to make things work, it used this whole network of this like great community we have in Park Slope to babysit kids and to cover shifts and to give us rides places, and I think that spills out. Yeah, he's got kids. He's got the kids. Oh, well.
Yeah, well, when we first started working on these songs together, a good melody and country music just in particular, I feel like has always been a safe haven for some of the sadder songs that have been written. And these are sad songs that come from a really hard time in life, and I just needed to hide them somewhere. So a fun melody to sing ended up being a safe haven for us.
It can also only be so sad when you have three-part harmony, because it's not just one lonely guy crying about how hard his life is. It's three people doing it together, and I think there's something joyful about, even if you're singing something sad, if three people are doing it, it's not as sad.
And then the way that we recorded the songs was in our favorite music hall, Rockwood Music Hall here. So we did like an 8-piece band in 2.5 days in stage 2 at Rockwood. So there wasn't any click track or anything, so you really just feel us trying to capture things that are important to us.
You don't love me like you used to.
I mean, there are moments of the show that are really hard. There's a song called Two Sides of Lonely that every night is a weight because it takes you back to dark times in your life, but it's also just worth it to sing and just be a part of that moment with a group of strangers in some city somewhere. And then there's also other songs that are hopeful, and yeah, it's just like life, everything you need, the darks and the light to paint a beautiful painting.
We've definitely had, craziest thing is when people come up to you and they have any kind of personal story that's meaningful to them that has to do with your music. We've had a few people who have lyrics tattooed on their bodies, and it represents some sort of promise they've made to somebody or an important event in their life, and it's cool and really weighty to know that you have that kind of influence for somebody, and it's beautiful.
But I do think like there is a weight, a good burden that comes along with when more and more people listen to your music. Like, you want to keep them in mind when you're trying to curate the next batch of songs. Like, you're definitely not just gonna phone it in.
Yeah, you don't want to make something just for the sake of making it. You know, you just not. It being cool for me now is not really enough. It has to be meaningful and real.
And Zach wrote a lot of these songs, and we came in at the end to help him finish the record. But they're personal. We were wondering if we were gonna find like the material, because Zach was in a dark space then, and but we're seeing all these people and like meeting all these people and hearing all these stories. Like, it's just it's inspiring to us to just be able to do this for a living, and people come out to our shows and help us do that, and we just want to honor them, you know, in our art and like in our time, and you know. So.
Just an overview, just breeze on through. You don't love me like you used to.
Hey, we're the Lone Bellow. You're watching Baeblemusic.
You don't love me